News and bad news for Chicago air travelers. Traffic at Chicago O'Hare Airport is taking off again, but that means possible hiccups, delays, and travel headaches, especially when you consider the airport is in the middle of a major years-long renovation that could take out even more gates in the short term. A new report from DePaul University analyzes the rapid growth and has some recommendations to the city to ease some of the burden. Joining us is the author, Joseph Sweeterman, professor and director of the school's Chaddick Institute for Metropolitan Development. Hey, Joe, always good to talk to you. First, what accounts for this rebound in traffic at O'Hare, and does that mean that it might soon reclaim the world's busiest title?
It's a remarkable story. Really, the magic started probably early 2004, right when the deal was struck about expanding terminals. And, we weren't for sure for a while if American was really going to double down on its O'Hare hub, but it's doing that now. And of course, United is in growth mode. They were in even disputes over who gets how many gates. American was upset about that. But long story short, they're growing fast. No other big hub in the country has had growth anywhere near what we have had in 2025. And we're playing catch up, but it's quite a story.
That certainly is good news because the city relies on its transportation network, especially its air travel. But as we mentioned, O'Hare is in the midst of this massive renovation where some gates are going to be taken out in the short term. So how does this growth complicate the renovation?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And O'Hare, we think this year will reclaim the title as the world's busiest airport in terms of flight operations. It's on track to do that, to surpass Atlanta. So, the O'Hare 21 terminal plan is really exciting. A new satellite concourse is going to open in late 2028. That's going to have 19 gates, going to be a beautiful a new concourse. But then we have to start work on Terminal 2, replacing that with the O'Hare Global Terminal. And it's very tough to build a new terminal and keep the old gates open. And so we're concerned that, you could lose a good part of those 43 gates for, 4, 5, 6 years to 2022 or 2023, right when the airport is growing, I should 2032 or 33. And, that's going to create a real pinch for travelers. So we're encouraging the city to rethink this, to assess options. And we got to start planning on that now.
And you did give some recommendations. What are some of those recommendations for planning for this growth and the renovation?
The first thing is really just go back and reassess if we need to build 2 satellites first before we build a global terminal. That was the original plan that was nixed because of cost concerns, and maybe it was going to be too much too soon. But now we think that needs to be studied. If it's affordable, and it would be another concourse out there near Terminal 1, have 2 side by side, so we could build the new global terminal, plenty of gates. But we also have to look at other things, encouraging larger planes. O'Hare has a lot of regional jets, smaller planes, under 100 seats. We got to incentivize the airlines to, like Atlanta, where bigger equipment is used. And the height of construction, we have to look at creating incentives to shift some flights to Midway as well.
And that was one of the recommendations I was reading, pretty interesting. How many flights do you think could be shifted to Midway? How much room is there over there?
Well, Southwest has gone through a pretty tough, Wall Street response, you might say. So they have shrunk. And by our estimates, they have reduced about 4 or 5 gates worth of activity. So if you look at the reductions, and they're 10 or 15% in terms of number of flights, you probably have room, for a significant share of flights. Probably not American United, who have the hub with connections, but some of the other airlines like Delta and JetBlue, might be persuaded to give Midway a shot.
Has the city indicated at all that they might take some of these recommendations to heart?
What's interesting is right when we're releasing the study, there's been reports and some bond documents that people at the city are thinking the same thing, that this growth is coming and this is not a subtle problem that's hard to understand. It's a good problem to have, that an airport that's been more successful than we thought. So we know discussions are underway. The complicated part is you probably need airline buy-in to significantly change the plans, and that there's a lot of cost pressure on airlines. But boy, decisions have to be made pretty soon.
You mentioned a good problem to have, and now that the airport might once again reclaim its world's busiest moniker, I know that's a point of pride for many Chicagoans to hang their hat on. So this is something to watch over the next several years. Joe Sweeterman, very interesting study, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
That's it for us tonight. Bears-Packers on Sunday. Oh my. Have a great weekend. We're back Monday night. Good night, everyone.